Hello, Namaste children. We are back here with the science new lesson. The lesson name is Nutrition in Living Organisms. First of all, we'll try to understand what is nutrition. See, the definition of nutrition. The process of taking in and using food in living organism is called nutrition. The process of taking in, what taking in? The food. To take the food in and to use that food in different manner. So what happens? What are the constituents of the food? The constituents of the foods are minerals, vitamins, carbohydrates, fats, proteins. All these things are get converted through the food, and those things are used from the food. That is called nutrition. What is it? Nutrition. Now then afterwards we will come to know that what is foodstuffs. Now try to understand what is foodstuffs. The lesson name is Nutrition in Living Organisms. Foodstuffs. Now see, what are the foodstuffs? Substances which are digested and assimilated. The substances which are digested after eating that food, taking the food in, those things are digested and assimilated, converted into different constituents and get mixed up into the blood, then to various parts of the body it has been transferred. So this assimilated, digested and assimilated for obtaining energy. Through that what we are getting? Energy. And for the growth, for our body, growth, energy and health, these all things are obtained through one substance, and that substance is called foodstuffs. Further, we get several types of nutrients from foodstuffs, and those nutrients can be classified into two types. Nutrients can be classified into two types. Remember, macronutrients and micronutrients. From the micronutrients, what we are getting? We are getting large quantity. In large quantity we are getting carbohydrates, proteins, fats. These all are the constituents we are getting from the micronutrients. From this macronutrients. This is called macronutrients because these constituents are in large quantity. So from the nutrients what we are getting in large quantity, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, hence it is called macronutrients. And the another type of nutrients is micronutrients. From this we are getting these constituents in small quantity. Those are minerals and vitamins. Now these all things we are getting from the food. Let's see how we are getting the food from the plants and animals as well. But plants are getting their food from where? No, they don't get the food from anywhere. They are making their own food, and that process is called photosynthesis. The process of making food in plants by themselves, and it is prepared with the help of sunlight and chlorophyll. Let's see the reaction. What reaction takes place in the photosynthesis? See, when carbon dioxide and water, these are reacted, plus this is one of the chemical reaction in which the photosynthesis takes place. How the photosynthesis takes place? Carbon dioxide and water reacted with each other in the body of the plant with the help of sunlight and chlorophyll. They get glucose. Glucose is the food. And the C, after reacting chemical reaction, when it is balanced, we are getting glucose C6H12O6 plus oxygen is released. Therefore this is the chemical reaction takes place while photosynthesis. Now let's see why do we need nutrition? We need nutrition to supply the energy to our body, then for growth and development of the body, to replace the damaged cells and repair the tissues, to fight diseases, means to increase our immunity. Then there are two types of nutrition. Nutrition, one, autotrophic nutrition. Auto means automatic. The plants prepare their own food, so it comes under the autotrophic nutrition. Then next is heterotrophic nutrition. Heterotrophic nutrition, example is animals and some plants are there, like Venus flytrap and those plants and all animals are heterotrophic because they depend on some other plants or animals for their food. Now let's see, this is the picture of the plant. See here how the photosynthesis process takes place. Plants convert light energy into chemical energy and stored in the form of food. Let's see how. Water, minerals, salts are absorbed by roots from the soil. The stem transports them up to the leaves. It goes up to the leaves. The leaves have microscopic openings, those are called stomata, through which they take in the carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide is taken inside through stomata. From there, the chloroplast present in the leaves contain chlorophyll. Here the chloroplast is there, chlorophyll is there. From this chlorophyll contains in the chloroplast, which absorbs sunlight, helping to convert carbon dioxide and water into food, and the glucose is formed. The food of the plant is formed and oxygen is given out in this process. Followed? Now let's see the transport system of plants. Take a pumpkin stem having 2-3 leaves of cut it underwater with a sharp blade. Take some water in a conical flask and add 7 to 8 drops of ink to it. Put the pumpkin stem vertically in that flask. Observe the changes that you can see that ink water has been absorbed by the, means it has been transported from the stem, from that conical flask. That ink has transported to the till the leaves. Okay. Now the transport system of plants consists of xylem and phloem. Now xylem, what does xylem is? It transports mineral and waters from the roots to all parts of the plants. Okay, from the roots, what has been transported? Mineral and water to all parts of the plants, means aerial parts of the plants. Phloem, this one transports the food from the leaves, which has been prepared into the leaves. Okay, the food which has been prepared into the leaves. From the leaves, the phloem transports this food from the leaves to other parts of the plants. Plants do not have a separate digestive or excretory system. Now plants, what does the plants produce? Let's see, what does the plants produce? Plants produce carbohydrates and proteins. From where does this carbohydrates produce? These plants produce these carbohydrates from carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, while protein is produced by the plants from carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. Okay. Now plants, very important thing, plants cannot utilize gaseous nitrogen. The nitrogen which is present in the atmosphere directly cannot be used by the plants. Let's see how it is used by the plants. For the growth of the plants, nitrogen is also necessary. Now it is to be converted into compounds, that means fixation of nitrogen should be taken place. Now let's see the fixation of nitrogen. Fixation of nitrogen occurs by biological and atmospheric methods. Biological, let's see, biological fixation of nitrogen. Two different types of microorganisms can bring about biological nitrogen fixation. See, root nodules of leguminous plants contain the rhizobium microorganisms. Two different microorganisms are there. From that, the rhizobium, where it is present into the leguminous plant, into the root nodules, and there is a azotobacter plant. But here what does it do? Microorganisms like rhizobium, azotobacter convert atmospheric nitrogen into nitrates, and that is a compound, and this compound can be used by the plants. Okay, now let's see. This is the biological fixation. You have seen that microorganisms are converting the atmospheric nitrogen into nitrates, that is compounds. Now let's see